Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to show you how to access the practice data set that we're going to use for a lot of the class, how to upload it into JASP, and then how to run a regression on JASP. I think that most of you already have JASP. There's another video that shows you how to download JASP if you haven't already downloaded it. So I will not include that in this video, but I will post that video. So say you already got JASP and you open it up. Oh, actually, before you do that, right here in the week 2 module, there's something called stats practice data, and this is the data set we'll be using. So if you click on it and then you click download, this will download stats practice data to your personal computer. And for me, it's in the downloads folder right there. And you can keep it in the downloads folder, or you can drag it over to your desktop if you want to make it easier to find. I'm just going to keep it in my downloads folder. Then I go over and I'll open up JASP. And when you open JASP, it looks like this. And if you go over to these 3 blue lines and you say open, you can go to the computer and you can find the data set that you just downloaded. So click browse, and then I'll go to my downloads folder, and there's my stats practice data. So if I open up that, it imports that data set into JASP. So here's all the data, and up here is the name of all the variables and everything. So pretty simple. Then if I want to run a regression, I just click on regression, and we're going to do classical linear regression. This is also where you would run a correlation, logistic regression, something a little different. We're not going to really cover in this class, so we'll just do linear regression. And then all you got to do is pick a dependent variable, and let's say opportunities for critical thinking. This is where we asked students about the opportunities that they have in their classrooms to think critically. And say we want to predict that with something like, well, is there an emphasis on mastering the information in your class, kind of learning as much as possible? Is there an emphasis on competition between students in your class? Those kinds of things. And then let's also see if maybe how much the student values what they learn in school predicts whether they think there's opportunities for critical thinking. Okay, so as I enter these predictor variables, you can see that it starts to build the regression model. First model is always sort of without the predictor variables. This is just kind of a H0 model. Over here, it gives you different options for how to enter the variables, the predictor variables, into the model. If you click the enter option, it just puts all of your predictor variables in the model at once. So if we go down here, we can see we've got all 3 of the predictor variables are in the model at once. If we click on statistics, we can get some descriptive statistics, which is always helpful. I recommend you always do that. And some collinearity diagnostics, and we'll stop there. So what we're interested in here is these are the statistics for sort of the overall model. And it's saying when you got all of the predictors in the model at once, do they significantly predict the variation in the dependent variable? They do. And then if you go down here for this H1 model, it shows you the statistics for each predictor variable. And if we look at the p-values, what we can see is class mastery is the strongest predictor of opportunities for critical thinking in the classroom. The standardized regression coefficients let you compare the predictors to see which ones are strongest. And class mastery is by far the strongest predictor variable. And then we've got whether there's an emphasis in competition in the classroom. That's also a significant predictor, but not as strong. And then whether students value school or not is not a significant predictor. We'll talk about these tolerance statistics in class. And then over here you see the descriptives. There's about 1,000 students in this model. Here's the means for each of these predictor variables and for the dependent variable. And then again, the collinearity diagnostics we will talk about in class. So that's how you download our data set. That's how you upload it back into JASP, and then that's how you run a multiple regression. I hope that's helpful.